the Matildas have started the Joe Montemurro era off with a win, defeating Slovenia 3-0 in Perth. My name is Poletti, and joining me, as always, is Burke. And Burke, I mean, new coach, new era, same old Matildas starting off with a win.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy to see that we got the win, 3-0. I know it did take us a very, very long time to get those second and third goals, but we got there in the end. Slovenia are a bit unlucky, honestly, but we have Tegan Micah, and you don't.
Yes,
Can't really say much else there.
Tegan Micah putting in an absolute shift in goal during this game. For me, absolute player of the match, between making saves that she probably shouldn't have made and also just bailing out her back line at so many different opportunities. 20 shots on target for 20 shots, I should say, 6 on target for Slovenia. Although, to be fair, saying that 20 of those were on target, probably not an inaccurate statement given the pressure that they put on. 18 shots for the Matildas, 7 on target, including 3 goals. Emily Gilnick opening the scoring in the 3rd minute. Holly McNamara in the 86th minute before Hayley Razzo in the 87th minute. This was not a 3-0 scoreline game, Burke. The Matildas absolutely got bailed out at the end by putting on some goals. Results-based analysis would suggest that the Matildas worked hard for their win, and that's not to say they didn't, but Slovenia absolutely worked incredibly hard and were probably harshly done by to not get a goal.
Yeah, definitely. They came close a lot of times, and yeah, it was a shame for them not to, but that is the way football goes. It'll be interesting to see how the team or how long, I guess it takes, because they will, how long it's going to take them to adapt to the style that Joe wants them to play, which looks like it's going to be playing out from the back. I know you don't like it. I also don't really like it, but it does look like that's what it's going to be. So it'll be interesting to see, how long it takes for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, Joe Montemurro has emphasised in his press conferences to date, and we are recording this almost immediately after full time, so we haven't seen his post-match press conference from this game, but has very much emphasised the idea of possession-based football and retaining possession and making sure they dominate play that way. And so playing out of the back would definitely lean into that idea a lot in terms of its execution and keeping the ball and that sort of things. But yeah, the midfield was getting run over with regularity, both with and without the ball. When they had it, they were getting run over. When they didn't have it, they were struggling to get it back. Slovenia were absolutely putting in, a huge effort for the entire 90 minutes on the press. Do you think that, looking at the issues in midfield, Burke, that it's just first game, new system, not the starting midfield you prefer? We know that Wheeler has withdrawn from this window for personal reasons. Kyra Cooney-Cross didn't play a minute in this game. Katrina Gorry is on personal leave. But I mean, Alex Chidiac barely made an impact on this game. Emily Van Egmond was sort of floating in between 6, 8, 10. She was all over the midfield, but did most of her best work up top, which is where we know that she likes to play. I don't know, like, no one in the midfield stood out for me today.
No, yeah, hard agree there. I think it's going to be a case of having to cycle through a couple of different midfield combinations to see what's going to work the most effectively. Obviously, we know Gorry and Cooney-Cross work. We know that. But we can't spend our whole lives depending on that. That's not a tenable option, as much as I would like it to be.
Katrina Gorry is getting older. She's not going to be around forever. KCC is at a point now where she's had 50 caps. Like, she needs to be the one running.
She knows what she's doing. So I think yeah, it's going to be a case of that, of cycling through a couple of different options. I'm just hoping that we've got enough time with Pep to do that before the Asian Cup rolls around, because that is coming very quickly now that I think about
Yeah.
it.
So the first game of 8 or 9 before the Asian Cup squad has to be selected. The next window, which again I believe off the top of my head is late September, early October from memory, is 2 or 3 games allowed for AFC sides. So the Matildas could play 2 games or 3 games in that window. But where and we'll say for the avoidance of doubt that it's going to be a 2 game window, and if we get a third game, then that's an absolute surprise. But we're 1 game down, 7 to go before that squad has to be selected, and 3 of those are with a very mixed squad that is certainly not first string choice by any chance. Burke, I mean, yeah, it's. I don't quite want to say I'm concerned but like the midfield has to sort itself out, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't play an entire tournament where your only tactic is play out from the back and then hoof it long. Like, we've got some very fast players in our forward line, but we can't do that.
Hopefully we see the midfield, begin to gel together. I think would be the best way to word it. If they can start to gel together, we can start to see things. When we got a hopefully what should be a full strength midfield for the next window, we'll see a little bit more of what Montemurro is trying to do and how it's going to look in action. Focus on a lot of the positives here. Tash Pryor came on in the second half and absolutely cleaned up in defense. Already talked about Tegan Micah. I mean, but that forward line all night, just doing so good. Whether it was Gilnick, McNamara, and who was the other starter? I have already forgotten.
Amy Sayer.
Amy Sayer looking absolutely good, and then
yeah.
Heyman comes in, Seamson comes in to replace Van Egmond, Razzo comes in, and it just kept on continuing. And it's not something we haven't seen before from the Matildas, but to see it in a game where the defense looked shaky at points and the midfield looked even shakier, to know that there was at least there was the extremes at both ends of the pitch, right? Where the goalkeeping looked good and the forward line looked just as good as what Tegan Micah did.
Yeah, yeah. Overall, I think a good place to start. I wish we had have been starting here 8 months ago, but can't always get what we want, can we?
No, we cannot. And this will be the part of our little review where I let you go off. Burke, Holly McNamara, first international goal.
Thank God. I have been waiting what feels like my whole life for this goal to happen. Close enough. Welcome back, Sam Kerr. Diving header. Excellent. Great stuff. May this be the first of very many more. And I believe it will be. I have faith. At her best, she's scoring once every 56 minutes. I would love to see those kinds of numbers for the Tillies. I think she's capable of it. But yes, so happy for her to finally have found the back of the net. You could see how much it meant to her, the way she kind of just curled up on the ground. Can't imagine the relief she must have felt, considering the amount of relief I felt. But yeah, I'm super stoked for her.
No, I think the nation as a whole is super stoked for her. Looking ahead now, the Matildas will play Slovenia on Sunday night in the second of this 2-game series against Slovenia. The game scheduled for kickoff 6 p.m. local time in Perth, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Burke, what do you want to see change, if anything, for the game against Slovenia, on Sunday night?
I would like to see Jada Wyman on the pitch. Please, God. Please. I cannot go another game where she goes ungapped. Please.
I think I want to see Kairakuni Cross in this
That
midfield.
too.
I think that is something I absolutely want to see. And I've deliberately tried not to end on a negative, but I feel it would be remiss of us not to bring this up. I want to see more people in the stands. The crowd a little bit under 8,700. I think it was you who brought this up on the live stream that we did, Burke. You sort of jokingly raising the question of, has the bubble burst? I mean, we have to remember it is a 4-game window with 3 of those games taking place in Perth, the other in Bunbury. So they're all in Western Australia within a couple of hours of each other. There's no shortage of opportunities to see the Matildas over the next 2 weeks in Perth. But yeah, I mean, I certainly don't remember those numbers post-COVID. Like, I think I have to go back to 2019 Cup of Nations, maybe a little bit after that, to seeing those numbers for Matilda's games less than 10,000. It's shocking, I think would be the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it was very surprising to see, considering Perth usually, well, has previously shown out for the Tillies. I mean, I went when they were pretty much selling out Optus Stadium, so they're capable of the big crowds. I guess maybe, I don't know, is the weather a factor in Perth? It's definitely not as cold over there as it is here right now. I can promise you that. But yeah, not great.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see some bigger numbers for the other games, so it won't look so bad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out across the rest of the window. I did say I was going to try and pick a positive for us to end on. So honestly, I just want to praise Tegan Micah again. She had an absolute shift. I know you've been on the Tegan Micah bandwagon for quite some time. I've been on it as well. It really is her goal to lose at this point, right?
Yeah. And I think really, given the form that she's in, the only way she really loses it if someone decides to out-train her or she gets injured again. Said the Vola, that does not happen, knock on wood, etc., etc. Yeah, that spot's hers. All hers.
Yep, and I mean, look, I would be perfectly okay if we don't see Tegan Micah in the next game, but as long as it's Jada Wyman. I do not need to see Mackenzie Arnold. I know you were wearing a Mackenzie Arnold shirt right now, but I do not need to see Mackenzie Arnold. We know what Mackenzie Arnold can do.
We do, hence why I'm wearing the shirt.
It's either Tegan Micah, either Tegan Micah or Jada Wyman or nothing. Like, let's just not play with a goalie.
No goalkeeper.
And there's no slight on Mackenzie Arnold.
Put Mackenzie Arnold as an outfield player. They've done that before. Well, not the Matildas, but that's happened before.
Yes. We saw that for West Ham. They went through a stage of like 65 bajillion injuries, right?
Yeah. Well, no, the game, they were just winning the game. Like, deeply winning the game. So they put her in as an outfield player. It was so scary being able to see her hands on the pitch. Don't do that again.
Let's not indeed. So the Matildas back in action against Slovenia on Sunday night, 6 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time, Australian Eastern Standard Time of 8 p.m. We'll be back on Monday morning to discuss the fallout from that game. Thank you very much for tuning in today. My name has been Poletti. Burke joining me as always. Burke, it's been a long one tonight, given that we also did the live stream as well. But as I said, the Montemurro Era starts off with a win, and we can't ask for much more than that.
Absolutely cannot. And let's hope it keeps going.
No worries. Thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully we are coming back on Monday to talk about a second win from 2 attempts under Joe Montemurro. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day.